Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here today. We've got a great show lined up with special guests here in the studio. But first, our weather brought to us by Hayden Technical Center. And again, I want to thank all of y'all for the feedback you've given us to get back on the show, and it's been so positive and all. Thank Bill and Mark and Greg yesterday for doing the show. It was really informative, good information. As you can see, when Greg Prudnick don't have time to go fishing, you know he's busy. So, and Bill the same way. Mark's only been one time, so that's everybody's mentality right now is, well, work, and recover. But we're going to press on, and it's going to be a brighter day ahead, I can promise you. High today is going to be 60 and low 48, and the water temperature is 60. So 60, and 48. That's cool water temperature. River reading brought to us by, really brought to us by no one right now, so I used to say in another one, our place called Bluntstown, right under 20 foot is 18.8, right at 19 foot. And it's, you know, it's just been high. It's been at 20, you know, for a good period of time now. And looking at the Choctawhatchee, both of them are staying level, but the Choctawhatchee is up to 11. It's still around 11 foot. It dropped out, but it's hanging in around 11 foot. And Apalachicola is just hanging in there. Not much movement today on our river systems. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good tides today on the 12th, and Christmas less than 2 weeks away. Hard to believe. A low tide at 9:51 and a high tide at 11:09. And we're looking at a marine forecast. Not much of a wind. It's sort of east-southeast at about 5 miles an hour. So not a bad day on the water. So let's take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and look who's here, Travis.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Officer Travis Basford, and we're going to start, and you think we're going to start talking about the hurricane and all, but we're not at first. We're going to talk about a new addition to the Basford family.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
We had a little boy November 2nd. We did not name him Michael, I can tell you that. But we did, and it was a little hectic, you know, with my wife being displaced and stuff like that. But we had him in Tallahassee because, of course, our hospitals weren't open, but everything went good, and yeah, new addition to the family.
And what is his name?
His name is Lucas Wyatt.
Lucas Wyatt. And
Lucas
here's a
Wyatt.
picture on the screen, and his sister. Is his sister happy?
Yep, she's happy to be a big sister and doing really good with it. So, yeah, it's pretty cool to see him interact and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And healthy baby, healthy mama, that's the main thing. So we're super blessed.
And that was interesting. You are blessed to have a family like that how you all couldn't use the Bay County, all Bay County residents, we couldn't use the hospitals here because of the damage and all.
Exactly.
Fortunately, y'all were close enough to Tallahassee.
We were, and my sister lives over there, so Nicole was able to stay over there, and it worked out really good. It's funny, I'm born and raised Bay County, Panama City, but both our children, one was born in Sandestin for some other reasons, and then this one was born in Tallahassee. So,
Well, they live here.
Yep, that's right.
And all is well.
All is well, yep. I know it's been a while since we've seen each other, and good to be back, and just like we were talking about, before we started, just amazing watching people come out and help each other because of the storm. So
yeah, and of course y'all live over there around Deer Point Lake.
Yes, sir. We live over there on the east side. So it was hit, but not as bad as some other areas, and we were very fortunate. We had some damage, but really minor compared to what a lot of other people are dealing with around the county and around the whole area, really.
Yeah.
So
and I know we're talking about the newer construction homes did so much better than the older construction, which is, obviously that would happen. And if it hit 20 years from now, these newer homes would be older and the new homes would do better. So that's part of the structure and all of building homes and all. But you've seen a lot as an officer riding around too, haven't you?
We have, and those first 2 or 3 weeks, it was just tarping people's roofs and cutting people out, FWC employees and their families, and then you get into a neighborhood, and then before you know it, you just kind of went from house to house, and then it's dark again, and you start all over. But we did, and we were able to help some people, which is good. And it's kind of weird the way those trees fell too. We were talking that you don't realize how many trees we had around here, big trees, and it's going to be a while before we have a lot of those again. And the way they fell, sometimes one house is here, and then the next one there's 3 that happen to fall on it. So
It's weird, and we noticed the same thing even in Port St. Joe and up in the road. I know, and you have some kin folks up in Jackson County, and they got hit pretty hard.
I tell you what, yeah, Jackson or Mariana and that whole central eastern side of Jackson just got raked as that storm went up, and just amazing the the area it covered. Because I went to Harvey, I've been to Irma, I've talked to people that went to Katrina.
Yeah, you went to all, you saw them.
I did, and it's just, it does kind of hit you a little harder because this is where you're from, but the area was so big, and that's what everyone says has been to these big storms. It's just that, you drive from, Panama City all the way into Gulf Franklin County and then all the way north to the state line. It's just, it was devastation. So
yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Y'all have worked those other storms too, and I guess y'all had some officers coming in from other states and all helping us. Did you get to see any of them, or how did that work?
We did, yeah. There were FWC officers from all over the state that came up. There's still some up here from the Keys doing the derelict vessel removal program, and yep, we did. And oh yeah, there were people, Alabama, Georgia, all those states coming and helping. So it was good to see that.
And you brought up a good point now we haven't talked about yet. We talked about all kinds of things, but we haven't talked about the derelict vessels out there. And they just were all over the place.
They were, and we've got a lot of funding and working with the Coast Guard, getting a lot of them removed. Y'all might see some of them staged at some of the ramps, and then they're trying to get some of them out to Steelfield. But they've removed a lot. I don't have the exact numbers on me right now, but maybe next time I come on the show.
Okay.
But they have removed a lot from Bay County waters, and they're hazards of navigation is what they were, that needed to be out of there. So
I've already had a viewer ask me or text me recently, actually the email, one to text, about all these derelict vehicles. Why can't we just pile them up on a barge and make a reef out of them? But I guess the processing of getting it all, you got to have all kind of, you got motor in there, you got oil and everything, the process.
You're exactly right, and certain permits that are needed. But yeah, I mean, if you take a big, let's say, just the proverbial, 30-foot, 35-foot sailboat that's been out there for, Lord knows how long, yeah, there's fuel down in there. Yeah. And there's different other hazards that they don't want to release into the environment. But yeah, I mean, great idea. If it was clean, you want to talk about a great wreck. I mean, but right now they're just looking to get them out of there for the time being, because to make one where you can take it out there takes time and effort and inspections and all that. And they just want to get them out of the water and out of the channels, because there were so many that broke. I mean, there were some that broke, where they're mooring. There were some that were. It was a mess.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
It was.
All right, let's go take a quick break. We'll be right back with Travis. Okay, welcome back. So with Travis, and one of the things I wanted Travis to go over, and he has some connections with this, and it's a big question. We got a lot of big questions, but one of them is down at St. Joe State Park on the peninsula there. We talked about it last week. We talked about it being broken up by the storm and all, and nobody knows what's going on. So tell us about how the information, where it's coming from, and this is breaking information about what's going on there, and we're bringing it to you first with Panhandle Outdoors and Travis. So tell us what's going
on. Okay, so everyone's familiar with St. Joe State Park and knows that they had some damage. There was a breach there where it actually blew through because of the storm, and it's open water now through. It's actually separated the majority of the park. But I talked to my cousin, Chuck Hatcher. He's the assistant director of Florida State Parks, works over in Tallahassee. He's been on the show here with Coach Chester.
Yes, he has. Yes, he knows a lot about it. Lives over Mariana, and he works up there in Tallahassee. So yes, he knows that's how I asked Travis to find out from him. So here we go.
Exactly. So he gave me some really good information. I want to relay it to y'all. They've already mobilized a team, and they're actively repairing the park there at St. Joe, the park drive and the portions where it was washed out. The road was washed out there coming into the park, and they're going to be working on that aggressively, and they hope to have that completed, that part repaired, and the boat ramp and some day use area open by the end of the year. That's the plan. So they're working hard.
That's moving fast right there.
They are, and that goes for all the parks. They're working hard to get them back, open and just like they were. But it does take time. Another thing about St. Joe, because there is a breach there, and that separates probably 3/4 of the park from where you can actually drive to it, and so what they're wanting to do is, and we don't have any dates on this, but they're going to have a public meeting in early 2019. An exact date and location to be determined, but they want stakeholder input because they're going to have to update and amend the unit management plan for that park. So they want to get some public input, just like FWC likes input when they make a rule change on a certain species or something. Florida State Parks, they want stakeholder input too. They want to hear what the public has to say, and that park's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, and it's been around for a very long time. So when that date and location gets set, I'll try to relay it to you, or I'll get Chuck to do that, and we'll have that information. So that's good news. We're moving in the right direction. These things take time. It's
great to hear it's moving forward like that. It's great they're going to get input, and it's interesting as to all kind of things that could happen with it. It could close up naturally. They could actually dredge and keep it open, or well, you told me the term they're using is interesting. What term are they using?
Well, a breach. Yeah, it is a breach.
Breach.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly, because and we've seen just since the storm, it has shallowed up a little bit. But, so there's a lot of things that could happen, and we've talked about, I don't know, you think it'll close? Maybe eventually. How long will that take?
How long? Right.
Right. Yeah. So those are all things that have to get worked out, and whether, there's going to be man-made intervention or not. So that's all to be determined. But anyways, good news there. And then also he mentioned up in Jackson County, the Cavern State Park.
Okay.
It's closed, because of the damage, and they're working to get that open as well, but it's probably going to take a few more months there. Jackson County has so many of those big, beautiful trees, and so anyways, it's one thing at a time. And then at St. Andrews, they've had a crew in there for a while cutting down stuff. And, what's odd, I've been in St. Andrews since the storm, is, you go in town, and that's the way a lot of the beach is. You go in town and it's just looks devastation. And then you go on Thomas Drive and on the beach, and it doesn't look quite as bad. So I don't know if that thing shifted when it come in town or what. But St. Andrews is doing good. They're making the repairs, and they've had to take down a lot of trees, but most of the facilities look like they're going to make it. So
that is good to hear. And again, this is part of our optimistic outlook for 2019. Is getting one of the things that's going to be positive coming about. It's going to be the state parks getting back open, so we're going to do some camping. I know some people camping now in the driveway. It's not voluntary camping; it's sort of mandatory, but that's all they have. But I'm glad to hear that on state parks. Got so many good things going on with it and all, and it's going to be fascinating to watch the development of what's going to happen at St. Joe State Park. Because, like Travis said, it's near and dear to so many people. And I actually, ironically, I already have the dates for next year, the 2019 scallop season. The dates have already been put out. I'm going to go over them on tomorrow's show. The only one they don't have the date for is, guess which one? St. Joe Bay.
Imagine that.
But the others all, Wakulla County, all the way down to state. They're already set for next year. Most of them are like July and August. But and of course we still have some of that red tide.
We do.
A little bit of it.
We do, and it's just amazing, that stuff. You'd think with 30-foot waves or whatever we had,
that it washed it away.
That would have washed it. The good news is with these cold fronts, and I've talked to biologists about this, with these cold fronts, when you get a good north wind, it does tend to move it off, and that's what you want, and you just would have thought that hurricane would have dispersed it. But it is there. From what I've heard, medium to low concentrations. I've actually, heard some good fishing reports over the past couple weeks. So I think it's there, but not like it was from what I've heard. So.
And the people that's gone, that actually been going fishing, the few of them that have been going, have done well.
They have, and a lot of us haven't even thought of that. But I talked to an officer. He checks a guy the other day. He had caught 20-something gags. Now, a lot of them were undersized. That's right off Panama City.
Yep.
And they're doing really good. Gags open until the end of the year. That seems to be what they're targeting, and a lot of throwback snapper. But they are getting some nice gags too.
Yeah.
So
that's good to hear.
Yep.
And another thing that's going to be exciting too, and real quick on the floundering. Nobody got to go floundering, so next year it'll be twice as many flounders. Is what I'm saying.
There you go.
Telling people nobody got to go. The same way with the mullet. We just started to catch mullet when the storm came, and now as a wildlife officer, we'll answer this as you get back. We're going to try to tell people what happened to the deer and the coyotes and all kind of animals in the woods when all these trees started falling. So we're going to answer that question for you right after this break. All right, welcome back. Our fishing game time today brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. 3:38 to 5:38 this morning. That just ended, but this afternoon, even 4 to 6. Got to show one picture of today is my little sweetheart, Ashley's 16th birthday. Went up to Tennessee and spent some time with her, and Gail made her a cake, and it did snow on us this past weekend, so it was cool. So happy birthday, sweet Ashley. Have a great day. We love you very much. Okay, so I know we got a case of the month, but you were talking about the animals and all, how they survived. You saw them on the camera by the next day, or?
It's just amazing. Yeah, I had one camera out up there at our place, and before the deer were coming in there and stuff, and then boom, the tree. It's amazing that tree that the camera was on was about one of the only ones standing. But you see all the trees come down and all, and then the very next morning, there they are.
The next morning.
They're in there. And it's just, like you say, how does something like that make it in a block? I know a lot of woods were like that. It's just everything's laid down. I mean, I'm sure some of them got hurt, but I mean, a lot of them still there. And then we talk about turkeys, too.
How do they make it?
I don't know. We've seen them.
They squatted down, hunkered down, I guess.
Get out of a tree, I guess, so they don't get blown around.
All right, our famous case of the month. What do you got to entertain us with today?
Case of the month. Now, I'll tell you, things just got back to normal here for us probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but around Thanksgiving. But I wanted to recognize an officer Officer Dennis Palmer.
Yes.
Great officer with us. Officer Palmer, it was with Reserve Officer Jay Chesser, who used to be a lieutenant here in Bay County. And they were on patrol, and they started checking some people up at the Deer Point Dam. And the water's been flowing out there pretty good with the drawdown. And there was a guy up there cast netting, and they did a resource inspection. And he had actually cast netted 8 bass, and I believe the number, and it's around 60-something panfish is what he had. Now, some of these were brim, I mean, big ones too, brim, shellcracker, like that. And crappie. I mean, he had a mixed bag.
You're
but
kidding.
He got them all with cast net, which you can't do because it's a freshwater game fish.
He was on the freshwater side?
He was on the saltwater side.
And they washed through.
They washed through.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's kind of what you're targeting. So bass do get washed through, brim. So if you're going to catch those kind of things, number one, you need a freshwater fishing license, and you need to follow the method of harvest. So, it was, I'm telling you, there were some really big panfish in there, which is like how they all get washed out. But anyways, so what he did, he had an illegal method for the cast netting game fish, freshwater game fish. He was over the bag limit on his bass and panfish, and different things like that. So some warnings were issued, and then some citations as well for all the violations. And but it was a good case by Officer Palmer there checking that guy, and it was amazing. I was like, wow, I didn't know we had that many brim and shellcracker getting out of Deer Point.
I guess so. Think all the good ones still in there.
Right. So it was a good case by, like I say, by Dennis and Jay Chesser there at the dam.
Good job. And I guess we're getting in. Like I say, things gonna be settling down. You mentioned about all the trees being blown down, and what I was thinking about on these outlaws and all, they're gonna have more vision for night hunting now.
They will, and
they're gonna be hard to get the deer out of there too.
Goodness, to drag one out. But yeah, it just everywhere. It's amazing what you can see now, especially like you say at night. The lights and things you never could see. And I know just at our house, I mean, we can hear the bay line like it's right there. Whereas before, all those trees would create a buffer with that noise. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And our management areas for the most part are open. Check online for that. I know in Bay County, Econfina and Pine Log are open. They were closed for a while. Econfina was, but it's back open. We've got duck season going on, deer season going on.
Did you get any reports on duck season?
I did.
How was it?
I checked some people on Thanksgiving. Actually saw some little bit different ducks we don't see as much, some gadwalls, some guys killed on Deer Point. And then, we have so much water right now. All those sandhill ponds and up into Washington County, they've had some good success up there on our normal wood ducks, ringneck stuff. So, yeah, it's doing good. And then we got the cold weather. So the people that are able to do it and their duck boat isn't damaged or whatever, a lot of us aren't hunting too much. But it's still going on, and I've heard some good reports and checked some people.
That's good to hear, and we'll ask about dove in a second, but let's cover this before I have time. You mentioned the deer, you've been out on the water and all, And then fresh water and salt water, we got some obstructions out there. People need to be careful, don't they?
Right, for a safety issue, absolutely. And that's on, you know, Deer Point, the rivers, and then obviously the bays. Yeah, just be looking. You're not always going to see stuff, and the best thing, I mean, speed kills. So just don't, I wouldn't run like you normally would through some of these things, because it might not be another boat. It could be a big tree or log or whatever that wasn't there before. And yeah, we don't want to have any accidents. So.
And just because you went there yesterday don't mean they're not going to be there today, because what happens, some of these trees is falling and logs will be floating around, and wind change direction, a log might be floating across today where it wasn't out there tomorrow. Exactly,
and yeah, that's a great point. Just always be careful. We had a bad accident on Choctawhatchee not too long ago, so you know, just speed kills, and there's all kinds of stuff out there that you can't see that are hazards under the water because of the storm. So.
What about the water quality? I've noticed it looked like the bay was sort of clearing up a little bit. We had a lot of mud there for a while.
It did, yep, it has, and it's getting better in some parts, you know, but then we get some more rain and it'll kind of do it again. But usually winter, we've got some nice water. So, but yeah, things are coming around, and you know, this stuff's going to be going on. We've seen a drop definitely in people fishing and hunting, just because, you know, there's more important things going on, and it just is what it is.
Well, we've talked about that. A lot of people doing other things right now, but it's going to bust loose before long. But I think it will be more progressive. But we'll have spring turkey pretty soon.
You're right, and all that's coming up. One thing we were talking about dove, you know, they changed the phases. So right now it's actually we're in between phases, but then that last phase will open. It'll run till the end of January. So that'll be a good thing too. You know,
that'll be a great time to go too.
It will if, like I say, if people are able to go. So, but a lot of stuff going on, and you know, again, just you know, follow your regulations and all that. And I just had a note here, just check the WMAs online to make sure they're open. As far as I know, the ones in Bay County are, but check the other ones and make sure the whole area is open, because they would open parts at a time sometimes.
And so the roads, you got to make sure the roads are passable and all, so, you know, take your time going through them.
That's right, and then, you know, the rivers right now, they're still up pretty good, aren't they?
They're up high. They're really up high.
Yep.
Well, Travis, wrap it up. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
New son, and I know y'all stay busy.
We do.
Thanks for all you do.
Yes,
Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Always, we appreciate the viewership and all the things you say positive about us. We appreciate it. You do something good today for your fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.